Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome to this live reading session with me, Hannah. I am so sorry I'm late. I'm gonna just wait a wee second for people to join. Let me also check PayPal. Let me see. Okay, no problem. Let's see who joins. Sorry for being late. Oh, I was doing my hair. Hello. Welcome to this live reading session with myself, Hannah. Hi to SP. How are you doing today? Let me see here. Question. Let me have a look. Okay. Yep. Oh, hold on. That's not the right one. Should be here. Yes, here, and then switch to there. Okay. Hello, hi. Yes. Hello, Karen. Welcome to you. So the live readings, yes, for anyone, but there is a process. Okay. Oh, I'm a little bit too close to the mic. There is a process to book. So the instructions are down below. I do need your time of birth, place of birth, date of birth, but you do all of that via PayPal, right? There's a PayPal link. It's $25 per reading. And then I need your birth information. And I'm just checking my emails. Let me have a look. PayPal. I'm not sure if Molly is in the audience at all. Are you there, Molly? Hello to the Enthused Dreams. Welcome back. How are you doing today? I hope the lunar eclipse served you well. Of course, right, we're still in that right now, and it's still going to be pretty impactful for the next 6 months at least. And then, of course, we want to think about the bigger lunar cycle that it's associated with. SP, you said perfect, thanks, no problem. And overall, how was the lunar eclipse for you? Still, the moon is in Pisces, and I think it's at 29 degrees right now. Yeah, conjunct Saturn. So maybe this could suggest a bit more stabilized energy, right? Stabilizing our emotions a bit, feeling a bit calmer. Then again, depending on what else you've got going on, it could be that it's pretty overwhelming emotionally. You know, some people maybe feel like they've reached their limit because Saturn is about limitation. Yeah. And whenever we do reach that breaking point, whenever we reach our emotional limit, it can feel like a lot. And I have noticed that even over the past few days, maybe because of this lunar eclipse intensity in Pisces, we're seeing other people's emotional reactions very, very strong. It's really difficult to calm the nerves, to pause for a second, to breathe. Yeah, it can be hard. You're sore from a neck injury, immediately lay low and cry a bit. Yeah, okay. You let out some emotion, and I'm sorry about your neck injury. That sucks. Like, what else is there to say? That is tough. It's not nice whenever you're not well, whenever your body isn't working the way it's used to working or the way that you want it to. And I hope that you feel better too, of course. I hope it eases up for you. So we'll see if anybody does book. I mean, it's a Monday. And typically Mondays can be quite busy for people. It's the beginning of the week. People are headed back to work. The Monday blues can happen. They can happen, especially with the moon in Pisces. Okay. Yeah, I sort of imagine that intensity. It's that intensity of emotion. It just goes up, 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 up. And then you feel drained, absolutely drained. Which I think is why resting is a big help. I know for myself yesterday, I rested on the sofa all day and I watched movies. Have you ever seen the movie Don't Breathe? Anyone? Have you ever seen it? Yeah, I watched that movie yesterday and I'm not gonna give anything away, but towards the end, seriously, walking into that movie, I thought, really, what can they do? What can they do with this? There are 3 burglars robbing a blind man's home. What can they really do? And I was pleasantly surprised, but also horrified. It's a good movie, I must say. I do like horror movies. Which kind of movies do you like? Do you like horror movies? You're not a horror movie fan? I even quite like this time of year because we are quickly approaching Halloween and I love watching Halloween movies. Oh yeah. Yes, love horror movies all the way. Definitely Lunar Cappy. And I do recall, I remember you. I have watched your videos before, by the way. So shout out to you. Love your videos. Love your voice also. Very soothing. Yeah. Do you like horror movies also? I actually found a really cute ghost, like a ghosty mug from TK Maxx recently. I just gotta say, in comparison to the United States, where I'm from in Northern Ireland, we do not get as much here. But whenever we do get a few things in, it's like, yes. So I waited a few years for that ghosty mug. I searched, nothing, and I am not paying ridiculous prices for a mug. I'm not doing it. So I found one and I'm really happy with it. I wish I had it with me, could show it, but yeah, I'm kind of rambling. Just making conversation, making conversation, waiting. But we'll see if anybody books. If nobody is interested in booking, it's completely fine, you know. I did postpone this session. It was supposed to be last Sunday and then I couldn't make it for certain reasons, but here we are. Here we are. Yes, oddity. Seen that. But you know, the unexpected turn in that one. Very eerie, very creepy. Yeah. I can't even explain that entity or that creature, whatever. Yeah. It's definitely I feel like it was a slow burner, but it was worth it. Did you think the same? How did you feel about it? Let me see here. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Right. So, could there be an issue with PayPal? Maybe there is. Because you said there that you sent it, but you forgot to ask a question. But you say you sent it. Why is that not showing up though? Hello, April. Welcome. Let me have a look. Could I be experiencing issues with PayPal? Let me see. I do apologize. Oh, is it one of those days? Seriously, maybe it is one of those days. Dang. Yeah, that's so strange because nothing is showing up on my end, even in my PayPal account at the end streams. Very weird. What could be the issue here? And I do apologize if it's something I'm doing. I'm sorry. This has never happened before. Let me see. Oh, are we getting something? We're getting activity, people. Let me see. Okay, so I did get a payment through successfully from Courtney. Yes, is that you, the Enthused Dreams? Is that you? Sorry, I've been just referring to you as Enthused Dreams from your username. So let me see. I hope you're doing good as well, April. But I'm going to go ahead and put in the info, get the chart ready for Courtney. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. No problem. We got there. It basically took a minute to reach me. That's all that was, just transfer. Okay, great. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at your chart. We'll go here. Four. Whilst I'm doing this, I can't look at the chat at the same time. So it's not that I'm ignoring anybody. It's just that I literally can't do two things at once. Okay. Here. Yeah, double check all that. So that should be, no, that should be 1. Yeah. And then the 4. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think. And L. Oh, go back here. Go here. Just retrieving the chart so then I can display it. Yep. Yes. Birth charts. Save. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me see your question, Courtney. You want to know if you'll move soon and when finances may go up and no more injuries. Yes. Oh, all right. Let's have a look here. Give me a moment, please, so I can assess your chart. Just a reminder as well, these are mini readings. And if anyone is interested in booking a longer reading with myself, I do offer those on my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Thank you. So Courtney, let's have a look. Moving and finances. What timing techniques do we have here? Uh, 89. Yep. going to go here. Oh. 1. All right. Mercury. Okay. So just give me a moment and then I can assess this. Movement and money. Yeah. All right. Let me break this down into smaller pieces. So what I'm going to say here for you, Courtney, when it comes to money, first and foremost, is that Venus, which is your money planet, because Venus rules your second house of personal finances. So Venus is currently transiting your 12th house. And what this can suggest is some type of karmic ending. Okay. There could be some type of financial situation that is coming to a close or is reaching a conclusion. There could also be this feeling of surrender or having to accept a situation for what it is for now, but to also trust that things will turn. So it could feel like you've done everything within your control to make things happen, to push forward. And then it can get to this point where emotionally you feel really confused or just like enough is enough. We see this with how Venus is opposing the moon in your 6th house, and the moon is in Aquarius. That moon in Aquarius influence in your 6th house is such a problem solver, right? So this can indicate that at your core, you're a big problem solver. You're someone who prefers to figure things out on your own. Right, let's face it, you value your independence very, very strongly, particularly when that's combined with all of your Aries there. If you notice, you've got Aries planets. So this surrender stuff can feel so foreign to you. And yet, this is also where you, in some way, may feel like you're being tested. Tested in terms of your inner strength. Because what's Leo? You know, Leo is so much about power and strength and courage. So Venus transiting this point for you is really, it's like a test to your very will. Okay? And then also, I'm going to further add to this. I see the 12th house as often representing time off work, because as the 6th house is about work and service and the everyday, all of those tasks and schedules, you've got the moon there. Your emotional needs are tied to these very things. You can be inventive, you can be very creative, but the 12th house is more about time. Well, there's a sense of rest, time off. Even Venus transiting the 12th could suggest financial aid. So money coming from others, coming from sources outside of yourself. But then there's also this thing of trying to find your inner peace, trying to reach this state of healthy equilibrium, particularly because Venus does rule your 2nd house and it's Libra there. It's the very sign of balance. So let's explore this a little bit more. And let's consider the trajectory of Venus. I'm going to more so move forward rather than looking back. And I say that because I was going to look back, because there was that Venus retrograde that occurred March time. It was about March, April time, something like that. And that would have occurred in Pisces and Aries, very much tied to business partnerships and tied to agreements, contracts, also linked to your personal finances because you've already got your natal Venus in Aries. But anyway, I'm basically trying to say that this is something that is tied to the past, right? That we're seeing the trajectory of Venus. So let's move forward with Venus instead of lingering too much in the past. I know I said I wasn't going to do it, but I did it anyway. Right. So Venus is going to enter Virgo in the next coming weeks. Notice also how Mercury is in Virgo now. It's now Virgo season. We've got Mercury there. Mercury is the ruler of your first house of self, health, your physical condition, your body. So these kinds of themes are coming up. It's like, okay, what about solutions? What about your health, your healing, your wellness? Mercury also rules your 10th house of career, your reputation, and you've got Jupiter and Mars there. So we see your drive, we see your passion, we see your leadership abilities, we see your ability to grab or to go after particular opportunities in a very smart way. We see your intellectual qualifications, possibly thinking about education or management or marketing, advertising, researching. Then, so whenever we think about Mercury, then these kinds of situations are on your mind, but they're also in conflict. There is that conflict because Mercury is making the square aspect. So Mercury basically is going to continue to move. Then Venus is going to come in to the first house in the next coming weeks. Because Venus is your very money planet, ruling your second house, we could see some healthy movement, but we could also see a point of release. We could see a type of easing up, this easing up quality. Maybe there is a particular moment to do with experiencing the unknown, taking a leap of faith, trusting in others, reaching out for help. There is a surrendering part of it at the same time, I think, because Venus will also oppose the North Node, right? It'll come and reach the South Node point. But then what will happen is both Mercury and the Sun and Venus will all continue to move. And post like eclipse season, what will happen is they will come into the second house for you. So we could see something more about your financial position change. And at the same time, okay, sure, those planets are also going to oppose the Aries planets for you in the 8th house. So maybe there is something here about relationships, partnerships, reaching out for maybe some, could be financial advice. It could be advice to do with your health, your well-being, particularly because you've also got your natal Mercury there in the 8th house. Let me double check your question. Sorry. Finances was one of them. Yeah, so we're seeing the movement financially. Let me read your comment a second. Blood to your brain. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Let me continue on. So finances and then movement, travel, stuff like that. So, okay, interestingly, at the same time, Venus does also rule your 9th house of long distance travel. So this could suggest some type of change to do with maybe it is that you feel a call to want to learn about a whole new area, a whole new subject. And that could require, it could be maybe some online learning, online education. It could be about maybe needing to travel to a different area, a different state, a different city. It could be a case of certain people having to come to you, right? Traveling to you and assisting you with maybe some practical skills that you can use, that you can learn. And Let's also explore the fourth house. So the fourth house is tied to the home. The home. Jupiter is your home-related planet. And you do have Sagittarius in the fourth. You've got Sagittarius on the IC. So internally, at your core, you're a big explorer. You're very adventurous. You love your freedom. My goodness, you need to feel like you're free. And that within itself highlights why it's so challenging right now for you too. You've even got the moon in Aquarius, which also speaks to your freedom. So let's explore Jupiter, because Jupiter's going to be doing a few things. Let me double check the retrograde dates of Jupiter so I can give you that information. One moment, please. Jupiter. When is Jupiter retrograde? Let's have a look. Okay, Jupiter retrograde. Well, it happens very late in the degrees. All right. So it's going to happen from the 11th of November. So there's still a few months to go here. Right. Whenever I'm thinking about this movement and home stuff, I do see how what's a big part of your vision, a big part of your future aspirations is to feel safe and secure. Particularly when we notice this opposition to all the Capricorn, as if to say, you are learning how to set healthy emotional boundaries between you and others. Hey, it could be a case of certain romantic partners, romantic relationships that didn't work out in the past. It could be that there is some father figure that you have a very complex relationship with, essentially. It could also be suggested that you are trying to get yourself to a place of greater peace within yourself. And this is all a part of this Jupiter and Cancer story for you. Seeing in which ways you've maybe outgrown certain family members or attitudes towards family or behaviors from family. Maybe also there's something quite psychological about this, particularly because we see the square combo to Aries. Even Jupiter would have been involved in this T-square influence for you. So we're seeing the conflict, but more so, hey, it could be physical, but it could also be within yourself. It could be, for example, that you have needed to depend on certain family members. That could be a thing. Maybe certain family members have had to care for you. But then that within itself has created this tension, because it's like, if it could feel like you're suffocating, it could feel like that's a lot, or maybe you need some kind of freedom, you need to do something for yourself. So I'm thinking that Jupiter could speak to this, and I'm thinking that could be where more of the movement is going to come for you. It's you not wanting to feel super confined by the past, by challenging relationships there. And then also Jupiter is, if I look at the degrees here, okay, Jupiter is still technically making a trine to Pluto in your chart. So there could be something transformative even about your local area, about travel, transportation. Could be a case of more close by, short distance trips, or wanting to get yourself situated. So essentially, what I'm trying to get at here is we see the trajectory, but we also see how Jupiter retrograde is going to happen on the 11th of November, and that's going to last about 4 months or so. So what I'm saying here could be a case of review. There could be something that you re-explore, that you revisit, tied to past family relationships, past family experiences. But yet, there could also be something to be said about leaning on particular friends or communities, or being a part of a support group. that could be the important thing for you. It's finding somewhere where you feel like you belong. That could be what you're seeking, what you're searching for through this Jupiter journey, this Jupiter story. But remember that the retrograde is really a way for you to just see how you are along your journey. But overall, I do think we notice this movement. It's slow movement, but it's also movement. And I think even to think about this more practically and logically, especially if you have went through really challenging health situations lately, that is where it is important to move slow. And hey, I'm also going to say that with Saturn, Saturn is now back in Pisces, but Saturn will return to Aries by about January, February next year. And what you'll notice is that because you have so many Aries placements, you're really going to be tested. You're going to be challenged when it comes to patience. It's a big, big lesson for your Aries planets to learn, is to slow down, is to check in, is to just take your time, is to wait your turn. A certain situation may not be today, but give it time. And it's more of that process, and also refining your will, really looking at how you can be brave enough to step into the unknown, step into a new territory that could be quite scary, but you're going to be called to be a leader when it comes to forging your own path in the next coming years, I would say, especially psychologically with the 8th house, maybe also when it comes to paying off debts. Anyway, that is yours. We have explored yours, Courtney. Thank you so much. I hope it was helpful. And let me have a look. Hello to Brittany. Hi to you. You have caught your first live. Great. Thanks for being here. And hello, Molly. Hi to you. You say that you're late. You're here. Well, good to have you here. Hello to Joe as well. Yes, I can do a mini reading, but you have to go to the link below. And that's how we set it up. Let me check. I'm just checking my PayPal. That's okay. I think it's fine. I think we're all good. So, but hey, if anybody wants to book, they can book. If not, it's okay as well. But I'll even ramble and chat in the meantime. I hope you are doing okay. And I hope also that, Courtney, you found your mini reading to be helpful. Naturally, there's only so much I can say in a small session, and I would also need to look a lot deeper into things, but these are mini readings. All right, we have someone else who has booked. We have Will. Hello to you, Will. Let me pull up your chart. Uh-huh. S. Boom. Yeah. Question. Saturn transiting your natal Venus in regards to relationships and finances. No problem. Let's have a look. Yep. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That's okay. Right. All right. Well, let's explore your chart. Yep. There we are. There we are. Tense. Give me a moment, please, Will, so I can assess your chart. Yeah, so Saturn is right on your natal Venus in Pisces. So your question is about how Saturn transit natal Venus really relates to relationships and finances for you. How interesting. So Venus does rule your second house of finances, and it also rules your seventh house of relationships. So that matches very well. So Venus is in Pisces, and it's in the 12th house. So relationships and finances seem to come with their karmic lessons for you quite a bit. You may find that often you're having to assess the very validity of them. You may also find that you need to be mindful of wearing these rose-colored glasses times whenever you might not see things overly clearly for what they are. You might justify certain partners' actions. You might convince yourself that a particular financial situation is the best option for you. You might stay in unhealthy relationships that are not equal, where in which there are power plays happening and you tolerate it or you accept it begrudgingly. But then it could also be where things get to a point where you think, stuff this, I'm done with this. I can't believe I put up with that, right? Because it could get to a point where your resentment, it builds, it builds, it builds. And then that's it. You've had enough. You've had enough. Now, it could also be that when it comes to the very reality of your finances, that I think is wrapped up in your self-worth, how much you value yourself. Because we see with Chiron in Taurus in your second house, we see that there's something here about your relationship to money that has been hurt or tarnished, or something has not worked out in your favor. Could be, for example, you growing up in an environment where you felt that lack, the lack of love, the lack of appreciation, the lack of possessions, the lack of security. Having finances or possessions used against you, possibly. We also see with Venus, then, we bring it back to Venus and Pisces. We see these possible themes to do with other people taking you for granted, mistaking your kindness for weakness, maybe dumping all of their trauma onto you, maybe projecting onto you quite a bit, and you take it. I'll take that. That's no problem. But then I'm also curious about the very relationship that you have, basically, with yourself. And I don't mean that obviously in this egotistic way. I just mean about loving yourself. I mean self-acceptance, knowing what your flaws are, what your weaknesses are. And by knowing those things, not letting people use them against you, because I can imagine this to an extent, others using private information against you, uh, vulnerable times, vulnerable moments that you've shared in the past being used against you. So, okay, hey, you know what? Let's also think about it another way. Let's think about it another way. I want to be balanced in my approach. I also see your devotion. I see great commitment. I see great integrity. I see great self-discipline. You've got your natal Saturn opposite in Virgo. You've got Mars in Virgo. You've got Jupiter in Virgo. Okay, all those planets, sure, they're retrograde. So there could be something internalized here, or something that maybe you don't fully see or you don't fully relate to. Okay, those deeper themes. However, I still think that Saturn here in Virgo suggests your stamina, your endurance, your ability to really step up, if you will, when it comes to maybe work, service, supporting yourself, being there for other people. When it comes to the day-to-day stuff, being a solid employee, being someone who strives to do their best, I think, with all these Virgo planets. But then I still am curious about how much you identify with those things, or how maybe for you, anytime something doesn't go according to plan, you might take it out on yourself. Could even be a case of self-fulfilling prophecies at play here, self-sabotage at play here that you may not be fully aware of. Yeah. So at the same time, I will say that with Venus in Pisces, you are a very devoted lover, partner. You care. Like I see you truly caring about the needs and the emotions of others. You've even got Mercury in Pisces in the 12th house. Mercury rules your third house of communication, rules your sixth house of service and the day-to-day. So there is a kind of devotion, I think, to those very areas. And you being quite a great listener, or always wanting to do the best that you can to help other people. So, Saturn. Saturn is now hitting Venus, right on top of Venus there. Keep in mind, Neptune is also there and will come back into Pisces very soon and will join Saturn. But Saturn, let's think about this. So Saturn is so much about limitation, and it's about responsibility, holding ourselves accountable for our actions. So Saturn is here to teach you a few things about holding yourself possibly to a higher standard than to the standard that you put up with within relationships. Saturn could also be acting as this limitation force. We're seeing that limits to how much you give can be very helpful, in that maybe you're coming to learn that it's not up to you to give to just anyone. You know, someone comes to you and they say, I need a favor, or I'm in a really difficult spot. Can you help me? It could also be a case of using healthy caution, healthy skepticism with Saturn. Putting down a boundary. Often when it comes to our relationships, a good way to kind of know if someone is good or healthy, good for us and healthy, is to put down a little boundary and to see how they react. So I'm thinking that Saturn could be coming in to teach you about those healthy boundaries within love. Hey, also when it comes to money, healthy discipline. Because we see those tendencies of overindulgence, or you could spend more than you earn. You could maybe engage in self-sabotaging behaviors to do with your finances, to do with, hey, it could be your food, sorry. Could be food, it could be your body that's impacted. Yes. So Saturn speaks to these healthy limits, I think. So that's one way to think of Saturn, because also I'm going to say Saturn is finishing up in Pisces for another 30 years or so. So take the time to reassess, assess what your own expectations are, what your expectations are of yourself, of partners, when it comes to love and relationships, what you want from them, addressing, certain hidden matters within yourself that maybe you when you really look within, you think, oh wow, I can't believe I've been engaging in that type of behavior, such as the wearing rose-colored glasses stuff, or being overly idealistic, making multiple excuses for people. But then also you appreciating the things that make you you, and loving your compassion, loving your empathy, and seeing that it's not about not being empathetic. Like, it's not about saying, no, I'm not going to help anyone or be there for anyone. It's more about this conscious decision, and it's about your ability to choose who you allow into your life and who is not very healthy, who is not reciprocal, I guess, who is not really on the even playing field with you, who just tries to dominate and control and manipulate, and it's this power play, right? It's all this type of stuff that is going on. And then at the same time, Neptune coming back in and joining up. Well, Neptune already rules Pisces, so basically, it's just highlighting more of those idealistic themes, highlighting more of those even spiritual themes, where hopefully you can reach this point of inner peace with all of this. Great self-acceptance could be a matter of praying or certain rituals, whatever you do, whatever you believe in, essentially, right? There's something here about drawing from your inner faith, but also inner knowing, hopefully highlighting more of those higher octave themes of Neptune, and coming at things from a place of unconditional love and kindness. Yeah, but hey, does not mean that we should be doormats, does not mean that we should be emotional punching bags for other people's issues either. Yeah. Well, I think that's what I'm going to say, because it is a mini reading and I could go on for longer. I really could, but I have to be respectful of it being a mini reading. And thank you. Thank you, Will. Thank you very much. I hope that was helpful. Also, folks, I want to mention that these are mini readings. So if you would like to book a full reading with myself, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Molly, hold on. Molly, you booked earlier. Did I get it? Molly, let me see. So I have an email from you, but I don't have a payment through PayPal. That's the thing. I have a question, and I do apologize if this is something on my end. I am sorry, but I don't have anything coming through PayPal here. Huh. Very strange. I did get the title as well. It says that PayPal cut you off, which I don't know. Did it cut you off with the question, you mean? Or did it cut you off from paying? I'm not sure. Well, awesome. Thanks. Good. I hope it was helpful. No problem. No problem, Molly. Sure. If you would like to book or anything, you can always email me, let me know. And I'll see if anybody else wants to book. I might leave it there, everyone, for today. I think I'm still feeling this Pisces moon energy. Maybe everybody else is. Oh. Molly, it is up to you. It's up to you if you want to try again. See, I don't know, because I'm not sure if it could be on your end. I'm not sure. It's completely up to you. Oh, yeah. The moon is going to enter Aries very soon. Very soon. When is that going to happen? When? Da, 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 da. It's a very reflective time. Moon. It's 8 o'clock, is it? Okay, yeah, so in the next, say, 7:45. Is it going to be then? Oh, is it going to be before then? 7:35. 7:40. Okay. 7:38. It's now 7:15. Yeah, so about 20 minutes or so. Yes. 23 minutes? Is that 23 minutes? Yeah. I think also, Molly, I do remember doing a reading for you before. I do remember. Yeah, 23 minutes away. Well, no, it's 22 minutes away. Is it? 15. Yeah, 15, 20, 23. No problem. That's no problem, Molly. And hello to Rhonda. Hi. Let's see if anybody else books. I might leave it there. We'll see. Is anybody else feeling a little bit sleepy around this time? With the moon being in Pisces. Then again, I always reach a point where I'm just so tired. I feel so old at times, where I have to be in bed early. Right. I'm gonna go then, everyone. Thank you for being here. And I do apologize for being a little bit late today. Completely my fault. I was washing my hair. I'll probably be back at the weekend. I do think weekends seem to be much better as well when it comes to readings. I get that during the week people are busy, got work, got other things they've got to do. So I get it. I get it. But it has been a pleasure, as always, reading your charts. It was great to read the chart of Courtney and Will, and I hope that they were helpful, and I'll keep them up, of course, as well, if you want to refer back to them. And if you do have any other questions about your chart, anything like that, feel free to email me at hannahselsewhere@outlook.com. And you can also book a reading with me via my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Yeah, I am going to get going, and I hope you all have a lovely week. Yes, have a lovely week ahead. Talk to you all very, very soon. Oh, do we have someone else? Oh, we're not done, people. We're not done. We have someone who just booked. Sorry. There's me being like, bye guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. We have someone who's booked. Let's have a look. Let's see. My apologies. Let's see. Okay. We have, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Correct me if I'm doing it incorrectly. Is it Tiana? Is it Tiana or Tijana? Is it Tiana? I'm not sure. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So let's put in your info and read your chart. Boom, boom. Yep. Uh-huh. One, two, yeah. Oh, you know what? It's okay. It is okay. There. Right. Question. Let's see. Oh, go there. Yeah. So, family, children, partner. Let's have a look. Do bear with me, everyone. I'm currently loading the chart. Right. And info. Yeah. Yeah. Sixth. Give me a moment, please, so I can read your chart. So question. family, children, partner. This is definitely the right info. Yeah. Family, children, partner. Mercury, yeah. Sun. Mars. Is that retrograde? It is. When are you going to turn direct? When's that going to happen? Let's try here. Still retrograde. Okay. Moon. We'll go into Capricorn. Venus. 6th house. So I am going to try my best to break this down for you, Tiana. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So there's a question here about a family. And whenever we explore, let me have a look here. Actually, let me get transits. Transits, yeah, I need those too. Right. Oh, go back. Wait, what? That's Uranus. Wait. Uranus. Yeah. Ah, interesting. Okay. Go here and grab this. And then look at this. Okay. Right. So here we go again. I just needed to get a couple more timing techniques, things like that to help me out. Right. What we see, first of all, is that both the Sun and Mercury are located in your 5th house of children. And the thing about this is Mercury rules your 8th house of conception. It rules your 8th house of intimate relationships, intimate bonds. And we further see that the North Node and the Moon are in Gemini in the 8th house. But then at the same time, the South Node is in Sagittarius with Uranus. So, okay, you're like, Hannah, what does all of this mean though? Okay, the way I'm going to break this down is that we see this challenge to do with children, to do with family. But we also see the amount of inner work that you have been performing over the years. We see that a big part of your life's trajectory is tied to understanding yourself, assessing yourself more deeply, especially from this perspective of, well, having to address the past, having to dig into pretty psychologically disruptive areas. Particularly, we see here that Pluto is currently transiting your 4th house, suggesting that there's a lot of revelations coming to the surface to do with family and home. You're uncovering the truth in many respects. But then we also notice that the very ruler of your 4th house, Uranus, is conjunct the South Node. And so what I'm getting from this is you have been fighting so much over your life, during your life, to be free, to let go of past situations that have not been so kind, in that maybe you have had to face certain dogmatic views, overly religious views and beliefs that were not healthy, or you've been having to redefine what is important to you in terms of your higher meaning and in terms of your faith, in terms of what your beliefs are. So the North Node with the moon there, it speaks to your emotional needs. It speaks to your inner strength and your intellectual growth. We see that you have so much happening in Scorpio, further adding to this inner power. And also mixed in with this, because of Pluto retrograde and Saturn retrograde, even Mars is now retrograde, the progressed version of it. We see this as you having to draw from your inner strength and resilience to get through. What I'm getting from this is self-preservation. Self-preservation. Having to protect yourself. Perhaps having to protect yourself from certain family members, honestly, because Mars is making a square to Venus in Aquarius. You possibly living an unconventional lifestyle. And what I'm pretty much trying to suggest here is that lifestyle, it goes against perhaps anything that you were raised to believe or think. And then you might have been the one who was labeled the betrayer of the family, or the one who was crazy, or the one who was defiant, whatever way we want to look at this. There's something here about your personal freedom, your personal choices, not being what others expected. And then at the same time, you choosing to live a life for yourself, to make your own decisions, to make your own choices. That's a big part of your North Node story in Gemini. It's about making your own choices, arriving at your own conclusions, especially from a place of your emotions. I don't mean to act on your emotions, but I just mean in terms of emotional fulfillment and regulating your emotions. Maybe you're someone who has had to speak with health professionals, therapists or psychologists about your emotions and your feelings. Maybe also there is a lot that you have kept in throughout your life. And we then also notice that you've certainly done the inner work over the years. Plus, Uranus is coming into the 8th house for you. It will continue to transit the 8th house around next year, I think around Taurus season, something like that, for the next... So from around Taurus season next year, which is about April, May, for the next 7 years or so. So what does this mean? We see your trajectory to do with, intellectual growth, freedom, change, and reinventing yourself, honestly. But this is also about reinventing yourself with relation to family and the past, and exploring those deeper layers. Maybe unresolved trauma is coming up here, particularly because Pluto is still also going to transit the 4th house at the same time. And at the same time, what we also see, this is really interesting to me, we see that the North Node right now is very close to your natal Sun and Mercury, and the lunar eclipse just happened in Pisces, and it happened very close to your natal Sun and Mercury in the 5th. So let's bring this back to children. That is a big part of this. Keep in mind that the 5th house is about children, yes, but it's also about romantic relationships. And then the 8th house is about intimacy and closeness, that bond, sharing resources, sharing materials. So what does this suggest? I think that the lunar eclipse, particularly with the North Node involved, the North Node is about destiny and fate. Something's being ushered in here. Something is being brought into focus about maybe realigning with your higher vision, with your higher purpose. There could be bigger, more abstract philosophical questions about children and your faith and having inner faith. There could be a deep belief present within you when it comes to children. And we could also literally see this as events unfolding here to do with the likes of children. Now, at the same time, there's also a challenging point with this. We do see the particular challenges with this, especially because, well, Uranus is making a square to this energy. And so there could be something unpredictable. I'm not going to say to you that you will definitely have children or you will definitely get married. That's giving you something that's very, very definitive. But what I could say is that we see these cycles play out. We see themes to do with your desires related to children, but then we also see these breakthroughs and these revelations and these different sort of sparks of interest and excitement, but at the same time, the scariness of it, the uncertainty of it. It's like stepping into the unknown, whatever it is here. It's still the lunar eclipse, I think, in Pisces that activated something very emotional. Could be a certain emotional release, could be something about emotional clarity. Yeah. And also, this stuff could be tied to those intimate bonds that you seek. And I also have to throw into this the fact that what's going to come up for you is a Uranus opposition over the next coming years. So, what I will say is expect the unexpected, particularly because the moon is about, well, it's tied to family. The moon is about family, it's about fertility, it's about motherhood, parenthood, right? It's about these things. And so we could see something pretty disruptive, very surprising, very jarring that could come into focus as Uranus joins up with the moon and the North Node over the next coming years. And at the same time, I want to bring your focus to how you've got Chiron in the seventh, because you asked about the partner side of things. Chiron here, especially because it's opposing Mars, Chiron speaks to something that's perhaps deeply ingrained, to do with your worth, to do with resources, to do with your money within relationships. I wonder about the power plays that happen. I wonder about certain relationships that have ended in the past. Maybe a certain marriage has ended in the past and it has left you very hurt, very wounded, so to speak. And I'm saying wounded because, Chiron is known as like the wounded healer. And I'm not saying that from a place of like you're broken or anything. But hey, you know what? It could feel like that. It could feel like that. Yeah, so Chiron here could suggest that there is something that's quite wounding and painful about value and worth within these one-to-one partnerships. So maybe a part of your story is to explore your will, to explore any times, for instance, when you do not speak up, or times whenever you don't take action, or times whenever you accept a situation for what it is rather than, standing up for yourself or making something known. But then, at the same time, maybe with the North Node in Pisces, this could be speaking to healthy surrender. I wonder about how often you feel like you need to be the tough one or the strong one or the one that's in charge, the one that's in control all the time within a relationship. How much you might, and I say this with compassion, you might take over, for example, right? Where you might sort of try to dominate the situation, control the situation. And then what can happen is it kind of pushes the other person away or other people away. And then I wonder about self-sabotage, this self-fulfilling prophecy that could happen where you're in this kind of loop or this cycle where you think, oh, well, I don't feel good enough. And you're going to basically try to reinforce this fact in your mind that you're not good enough. And so there could be something psychological going on here. There's something quite deep about worth, and possibly that could be coming from a place of past relationships that you've experienced that have left you feeling like you're less than. And then that could also be it could be tied up in your family, because Venus rules your 7th and it's in the 4th. There's something here about the family dynamics. So all in all, what I'm trying to get at is that it's also this psychological process. And I do think that there is a sense of surrender and even self-forgiveness and self-compassion. And there is also something here about stepping into the unknown. I think what will be important for you to keep in mind is to pay attention to what is happening in Pisces over the next coming while. Because we have the lunar eclipse that happens, and then there will also be the third quarter moon of that, which will happen in about 9 months or so, around that same point. So yeah, we do see something unfolding, but hey, this is a mini reading, and that's it. I have to stop somewhere. Thank you. Let me see. Oh my gosh, hold on. Let me see. Let me see what you're saying here. Emotionally absent. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is someone else's experience. Right. Well, let me see. Well, I want to say to Pavana, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Pavana. So with that situation, that sounds like a lot, and that is not the best thing to be going through. I'm sorry that you're having to experience that. It is not nice to feel that way. And unfortunately, I can't, I would need to read your chart basically, and the way to do that is to go to the link below. I wish I could support everyone, but I can't. Anyway, I am going to go this time. Definitely this time. And Pavana, if you want to reach out to me via email, book a reading, anything like that, you can. But no, that is a tough situation to be in. I'm sorry you're having to go through that. You can book a reading with me by going to my website, hannahselsewhere.com, or you can email me, hannahselsewhere@outlook.com. Yeah, I'm going to get going, and anybody else who has maybe had issues, anything like that, I can always do a mini reading for you shortly after this or tomorrow, whatever. Okay, definitely going to get going. Tia, I did. I pronounced it correctly. Great. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking in to know that you're there, who you are. Great. Thank you for booking. Okay, I'm definitely going to go now, everyone.